Monday sit-at-home in Anambra State has intensified following recent attacks across the state. In response, private and mission schools that had been operating on Monday have suspended classes until further notice. The Catholic Education Council issued a directive citing security concerns, announcing that schools would not longer hold on Mondays. Students were advised to stay home and resume on Tuesday, November 26th. However, senior secondary school students are expected to attend schools on Monday and Saturdays for special lessons without uniforms. The council expressed appreciation to parents and guardians who completed their payments as expected and urged them to share the message with others. The decision came after reports of threats by unknown individuals to attack school buses and institutions that remained open on Mondays. In response to these threats, commercial activities in Anambra were also affected, with traders at Oko Main Market hurriedly closing their shops after hearing that gunmen were targeting the market. In another incident, unidentified gunmen attacked operatives of the Anambra State Vigilante Service along Amese Uga Road in Aguata local government area. One vigilante member was injured and their vehicle were set on fire. Police responded swiftly, rescuing the injured officer and taking them to the hospital for treatment. The police secured the scene to prevent further criminal activity and have increased patrols in the area, focusing on intelligence-led operations to apprehend the attackers. Additionally, police operatives from the Oboko Divisional Police responded to a fire outbreak at Chukunonso Street, Oboko. The area was cordoned off to prevent looting, and fire service personnel quickly controlled the situation. An investigation into the cause of the fire is underway. Recently, for the past days, we've been talking about Simon Ekpa, but that's not the situation that's not the topic of discussion. And there has been alleged stories, or let's say not allegedly, that he is a sponsor of this unknown gunmen happening in the southeast right now. And then those Monday sit at home, he orchestrated it. And then it's been affecting the states in the southeast, and Anambra is one of them. And then we have here that Anambra State has called on the indigenes to call up our students not to resume on Mondays. And we all know that Mondays are very special days, and schools do not open on Mondays, shops do not open on Monday. We have been going back and forth about this, but I would love to get your thoughts, Mufasa. What do you have to say about this?
I've said it before and I'll say it again, that what is happening in the southeast, because we just single out Anambra State in this particular instance,
yes.
But we know that whatever they are talking about is occasion in almost all the southeastern states. And I've said that this thing has been allowed to fester for this long because of lack of leadership. Now, we are aware that, certain persons are agitating for whatever they are agitating for. They have a right. Everybody has a right to agitate, but the ways and manner you go about your agitations is really key when it comes to dealing with the public. And we've seen a situation where business activities, other activities has been completely grounded on Mondays in the states of the southeast. It's not as if it's happening today. It has been going on for long.
Yes.
And government is not ready to address this situation. These are non-state actors who will just on their own declare a sit-at-home, still come out to enforce it. So you don't expect the people of the state to, to just on their own say they won't succumb to the whims and caprices of these misguided elements. If we have government in place whose primary responsibility is to protect lives and property, because one thing is for you to tell the people to come out, don't worry, come out, you'll be protected, and when you come out for your businesses, you'll be attacked, in most cases killed. Now, looking at the situation where students can't even go to schools on Mondays. Because any school that is open on Mondays will be attacked.
Yes.
And these people, they come, they have you know, so much leeway carry out their attacks, and it goes, unapprehended and unchecked. So for me, I think enough is enough of this nonsense. Let us know if these states of the Southeast are ungoverned spaces in the country, because if we have laws and we have rules that say that we have 5 working days of the week, starting from Mondays.
Yes.
And automatically, because of the activities of these disgruntled, misguided, I call them misguided elements, because some of them don't even know the implication of what they are doing. You just mentioned the name of an individual who sits somewhere and is dishing out orders to people. It's not in this. So they should understand that when you use your own hands to destroy your place, whatever you think you're agitating for becomes, inconsequential. That's why I said, even if you have a right to agitate for whatever, attention that you want from government, you shouldn't do that at the detriment of your own people. I've always said that you don't burn down your house just because you want to kill a rat. So for me, governments, especially the state governors, opinion leaders, legislators, who are both in the National Assembly and the State House of Assembly, should come together and see how to fight these hydra-headed monsters. These people, they are just a handful of, renegades.
Why do you think they have not come to that realization? Because, like you said, this sit-at-home order has been going on for a long time. Why do you think the government have not come to the situation where they cease this incident from occurring?
Because I feel that we have leaders who are irresponsive and irresponsible. This is not the first time. This is not the second. It's not even the third time. So if they have so much care and concern for the people that they have a responsibility to protect, it's not as if they don't know. So it is in fact, it is gross irresponsibility on the part of government. Because I know that if you have a will to accomplish something, there will certainly be a way. They have all the apparatus of state to bring this thing to a stop. Instead, what they were just doing was just crashing the surface, going to set up Ubibagu and all those vigilantes. That is not. Try to see how you galvanize the conventional security architectures like the police, the Nigerian Army, the Navy, and the DSS. Call them and ask to find out what they need to ensure that this thing is put to a complete. So, because already it's killing the economic potentials and viability of the Southeast.
Yes.
People even find it very difficult, not even to visit, to go through the place. Recently, the late senator, when they brought his remains for burial, if you see the retinue, in fact, it's like they empty an entire barracks just for people that will come to have that little, confidence that they are safe. Otherwise, people will not want to go there, because for them, the Southeast is volatile. Is in fact, it's a dangerous place to go to. And when you keep hearing stories like this, it's like a case of, nobody cares, nobody can do anything, whereas we have government in place. So it's unfortunate and pathetic.
But quickly, Dumezu, before I come to you, I've had a situation before. I wanted to travel to the east. I had to call. I had to, make findings first to know how safe it is before I could travel. And this is not supposed to be a situation in a country where we dwell in, So it's more like we are not safe to travel, because before now, and once it's festive periods, everyone, the Easterners, the Igbos, we make plans to travel. So it's not. I'm not sure it's longer in the thoughts of some people right now. And I wanted to also bring it to your thoughts. Do you think Simon has in any way has a hand in the situation that's going on right now?
Well, definitely, I believe so, and I think that this is a regional, is a subnational compromise, because I do not believe that the East, we have history of the Nigerian Biafran War, and we know how much, sorry to recall that history, the Biafrans, fought hard against the Nigerian army. So that energy is there, that fortitude is there. So it is natural with a Southeasterner. They always say that, put an Igbo man anywhere, he survives. Because of their entrepreneurial skills, they can survive anywhere. They are not lazy people. And I believe that is the same strength that they have at this time. And I believe that that courage missing at this time is as a result of a compromise. And the compromise is that, there are elites in the Southeast who have strong affinity with these persons. That's my belief. Because I do not see how that a few persons who do not have a formal training, military training, would suddenly dominate an entire 5 states in the East and then, take decisions that is only agreeable to government, decide when people move and when they don't move, and they're impacting on the economy and the social life of the people negatively, and then governor comes and says, look, I declare that Monday should be open, people should go about their businesses. There are no implementations. I have not seen anybody charged to court, for violation of the laws or violation of human rights, liberty of people to associate and move freely. Nobody has been jailed. And then you expect there to be changes.
And most of them use sophisticated weapons.
I'm telling you, so how do they get it? So I feel that there's a regional compromise. There's a regional compromise, and some of the efforts being put in are just on the surface, and it's becoming too dramatic. To say the least, this is tantamount to treasonable felony. Because there's a government of this country, and people, individuals, constitute themselves without the mandate of the people and begin to restrict and infringe on the rights of others. No, I think there's a compromise. And that compromise is that there are elites in the Southeast who share in the sentiments that the Southeast is being badly treated politically in this country. Well, that may be empirically true, proven, but then that is not the best way to go about it. And we must be careful with the kind of precedences that we set in this country. Because every region in this country now feels that the only way to get our agitations listened to is to go into violence. So you see the South, where there was militancy. People were destroying pipelines, people were kidnapping people, and that whole government had to be boxed to the point to listen. It didn't have to get to that point. But because it came through that route and they got what they needed, other regions now feel that we have to be violent to get the attention of government. And that's clearly what is happening in the Southeast. In fact, the Southeast is now becoming more dangerous than even the North.
Okay.
So
I wanted to ask a question. Maybe I'll direct a question to you, Demezu. And talking about the North, we've had cases of insecurity, going on, the Lakura and the new terrorist groups. And then we have now in the East that it's the unknown gunmen disturbing the peace of the citizens. How does this affect the economy value and the educational value of the country?
Well, we because we've not conducted a research, we may not be able to tell specifically the high level of damage. But one can assume clearly that the damages are so devastating so far. Because number one, we know the Easterners to be business-oriented in this country. They top the rank when it comes to business. And that is a high business area. People do not longer find it funny, uncomfortable rather, to go to the East for transactions. In the East, they have agro power. All of those, people can no longer go to buy yams. I used to hear of Anambra yam and all of that. People can't go to do that. I have a friend who is into logistics. His bulletproof of over 600 and something million was burnt in Anambra. 600 and something million, gone. Why? What's the agitation for? What is this whole unknown government? What do they want? Why can't they go into negotiation with governments? So I think that there's a level of compromise that is affected, that is giving these people the guts to continue to do what they're doing. And when you say you're setting a Bubeago is to do what? Because these are the same Easterners. They share in the same psychology. There's a philosophy to this agitation. And everybody in the East believes that we are badly treated. We reserve the right to produce the president. We need this. So the person you're recruiting to go and kill his brother, do you think he will kill his brother when he believes in the same cause? He wouldn't. So these things are counterproductive. It's affecting the income in the North. If you check, and I believe strongly, that the only thing that may have increased so far is the allocation All right? But if you talk of IGRO in the States, it would have drastically reduced because nobody wants to do business in a volatile area. Nobody wants to put his money into, in a place where you're not sure you're going to get profit, not even your capital. And that's why, the funeral rites activities for late Senator Ifeanyi, but a lot of them took place in Lagos and Abuja because they were trying to accommodate friends and give them the platform to be able to show solidarity, knowing fully well that a lot of persons will not want to come to the East. So the social life and economic life of that place is affected. The education is affected badly. And if we have to follow the statistics, we'll see them evidently.
Thank you,
so
Dumizo.
Everybody has got to sit up on this issue.
Thank you, Dumizo. But quickly, I'll need to ask you, Mufasa, talking about the economic value, like he said, how do I put it? The situation of the country right now, some way would say there's hardship, right? And then do we quantify it to the insecurity or the high rates of the fuel subsidy removal? Let me not say high rates. Do we quantify the reason for hardship in the country to insecurity or the fuel subsidy removal?
Well, largely, both factors, you place them side by side. I believe they run in pari passu. Now, we all know that, if we want to start talking about the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy, I'm sure we will not have enough time to discuss that. But looking at the effect of the insecurity caused by these non-state actors that has made a lot of people who are business-oriented, who would want to travel to maybe transact business with business partners and associates from that region where there is largely, violence in a large scale. Of course, it's going to affect, businesses. Now, even when you look at staple food products that come from those regions, it has largely affected it. So when you have low supply, the price will certainly go up because when demand is higher than supply, of course, basic economics. So for me, I think these things are grossly affecting, the purchasing power of the people. So much can hardly get you, anything unless these issues are sufficiently addressed. And like I've said before, it is not rocket science. It is not big deal. What we just need is leadership that have the will to conquer these criminal elements. These are non-state actors, like you said. These are ragtags, people without the requisite training. They are not, I cannot even see any of them, even if you go to the north, where you also have some of these pockets of violence, banditry, and terrorism. These are elements who just, wake up and decide to carry arms. But we have security architectures that is well structured, well trained, and all that. How come we've not been able to overpower them? So could it be that, like you said, there's a conspiracy one way or the other that maybe some persons are benefiting from it against the large interest of vast majority of Nigerians? So these are the issues, but we'll keep talking about it.
Thank you.
Because if the government in place, if they have the will to conquer these people, where there is a will, there certainly be a will.
Okay, so insecurity is one of the reasons why there is economy depreciation. Largely. Thank you very much. Well